Hey everybody, it's Jim Palmer, the Newsletter Guru. A couple weeks ago I was speaking at Lee Milteer's Peak Performers, and when she introduced me she held up all four of my books to the group, and then a couple after I spoke I had people coming up to me, how'd you write 4 books? And this like 3 years I guess, and then especially the last one I wrote in 60 days, and I shared my story about massive action. I said, man, that gives me an idea. I'm going to go home and shoot a video for Newsletter Guru TV. Now the funniest thing just happened. So I'm starting to shoot the video, right? And right before what I'm recording now. And suddenly as I'm talking into the camera, I go, little voice in my shoulder goes, you've already done this one. And I stopped the camera, turned on my computer, and I looked and I said, you know what? I did do that. But here's the funny thing. I've been doing these videos now for 3 years. I think we're approaching 150 episodes, so it's bound to happen where I start either running out of content or I start mentioning the same things that I like to talk about. I mean, there's always going to be things that I can talk about, but here's the good news is I'm going to show you an episode right now. You may have missed it. I think it was back. It's a ways back. It's like 3-4 months back, and I had hundreds of people to my list weekly, so you may have missed it. So I'm going to just roll this tape. This was a previously released episode of Newsletter Guru TV in which I showed you how Martin Howie, my co-author of It's Okay to Be Scared But Never Give Up, how we got this book done and out and printed everything in 62 days. It is a great example of massive action. So, on one hand, I'm all done, and I don't have to do any editing today, but you're going to see a great video. I just didn't want to throw it up there. And the camera's rolling anyway, so I had to share with you my little embarrassing boop boop moment. So, all right, a great example of massive action in 60 days. Watch this, and I will see you on the next episode next week with another fresh marketing tip. Take care, everybody. Enjoy this. Nothing moves your business forward like some good old massive action. Come on, let's talk about it. Welcome to Newsletter Guru TV, your show with a boatload of smart marketing and business building advice and a little fun along the way.
This episode of Newsletter Guru TV is brought to you by Mars Training Program. 9 stealth strategies guaranteed to rapidly increase your repeat and referral business, even in a recession.
Hey everybody, it's Jim Palmer, the Newsletter Guru. On this episode of Newsletter Guru TV, I'm going to talk to you about massive action as a way to get things done and move your business forward, but I'm going to give you a very practical step-by-step guide of exactly how I've used massive action in the last 60 days. Now, you're probably aware that since Friday, my brand new book, It's Okay to Be Scared But Never Give Up, a book of hope and inspiration for life and business, came out. This book was done in 60 days. A very, very nice 240-page book came out in 60 days. I'm going to show you how we did that. Martin and I, my good buddy Martin Howie is the co-author, and we both coach entrepreneurs and small business owners. One of the strategies we both talk about, of course, one we both use ourselves, is to become an author. Having a book, becoming a published author, is a very, very good way to position yourself as the go-to authority on what your topic is. Now, last December 2nd, Martin and I were out in Los Angeles. We were attending a marketing event for our good buddy James Malinchak, Big Money Speaker Seminar. And the first morning, Martin and I were at breakfast, and we're talking about, Martin has gone through a very, very big struggle with cancer. He had stage 4 cancer, and really went through a serious battle, and he's become very much a survivor, and he has a very big story of hope and inspiration, but also an important message about early detection. And me, and along with some of Martin's other friends, have been urging him to write a book. And I said, Martin, you've got to get your book out. And he said, you know what, Jim? You ought to write the book. You're a cancer survivor. You've been through a lot in your business, in your life. You ought to write the book. And I said, you know what? We ought to write the book together. So right then, on December 2nd, the idea was born. Over the next literally 3 hours, by lunchtime that very same morning, we mapped out exactly what the book would be, the purpose of the book, the mission of the book, how it was going to be done. So let me tell you that. Basically, we said, listen, we've both got a story to tell and the important message of early detection, but also we think that the industry and business people in general are looking for a book that's going to provide some hope and inspiration, because we felt the economy and just the mood of the country is kind of gloomy the way it is. And we said, you know what we can do? We're going to tell our stories. We're each going to share some good wisdom and business nuggets on how to market and grow a business, but we're also going to reach out to some of our good buddies, some very, very successful small business and owners and entrepreneurs, and ask them if they would come on the book, and we would interview them for 30 minutes each. We're going to ask all of them the same 3 questions. What's the biggest challenge that you have faced in either your personal life or your business? How did you get through it? And then 3, because of the very nature of who is going to be likely reading the book, you know, Martin and I know a lot of people that are business owners. We said, so the 3rd question everybody's going to get asked is, give us your one really big, rock solid nugget of wisdom on how somebody who's reading this book can actually make 2012 their best year ever. So, massive action style, Martin and I agreed that the following Tuesday, this was I think a Thursday when we met, the following Tuesday we would get on the our conference line, and we were going to record an interview. We'd interview each other for 3 hours, and we did that. In the meantime, we were each going after our special guests. Some of the guests Martin knows better than me, and some of the guests I know better than Martin. So we actually booked 9 really, really special guest experts for this book, and we scheduled. We said we want all the interviews done by the end of this year, by the December 31st. I think we actually had to do 1 interview on January 3rd. I pre-scheduled ahead of time with my transcriptionist. I said, as we do these interviews, every 30-minute interview, we're going to keep forwarding it to you. You'll get the thing transcribed. I gave her a deadline when all the transcripts had to be done. I had the very next day, I had an appointment booked with my book editor, and she was going to take it all and massage it and turn it into this book. In the meantime, I was working with my book designer to whip up the cover. And in the meantime, I'm running my business, Martin's running his, but every day we're working until here we are. Just last Friday, the book came out, literally about 60 days after the very initial idea, and it's very cool. Now we're actually working, the last thing was on the website in order to sell the book. Now, Martin and I love doing video, and we said we got to do a video together, but here's the problem. I'm in Pennsylvania, Martin's over across the country in Phoenix, but it turns out I had a meeting in Los Angeles. I think it was January 27th or 26th, like days before we were supposed to go live with the book. But I had a choice. I could fly through Denver or fly through Phoenix, and I flew through Phoenix. On my return flight, I had a 2-hour layover. I said, Martin, meet me at the airport. I'll be there at 10:30 a.m. We got about an hour and a half. We'll find a quiet place. We'll shoot the video. It's exactly what we did. I'm going to share a funny story with you. So the video that you actually see at www.itsokaytobescared.com. So I'm getting off the plane, towing my bag, and I'm on my cell phone. I find Martin, and I said, we got to find a quiet place. Man, it's very noisy in here. And he said, I think I found just the place. Little did I know, there's a little room off the main terminal Martin had found. It was called the Airport Chapel, Airport Church. And we went in there, and there's actually a couple people in there, but there was also a pastor, which I had no idea there were pastors in Airport Chapel. He said, can I help you? We said, yeah, we were looking for a place for 15 minutes where we could have a quiet meeting. And he said, come with me. And he opened up this door, and in there was this tiny little meeting room where people could go in. He said, you're welcome to use this for 15, 20 minutes. Got out my camera, set it up on the tripod, and without any, Martin and I didn't rehearse. We didn't have a script. We didn't know what we were going to say. We sat down in front of the camera, and we whipped out this video that you now see at www.itsokaytobescared.com. We just wanted it to be a genuine conversation between friends, and that's pretty much what you see. There's a couple bloopers, as we've actually had a couple people point out the bloopers. How rude. Anyway, it was just a candid video. I got back, we edited, I gave it to my website guy. That was the last piece of the puzzle we needed. Put it up on the website. The site went live Thursday. On Friday, my fulfillment house received the order of books. We started selling. We've been selling books all weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an example of massive action at its best. From the very idea to the time the book was printed to the time we were selling it was about 60 days. If you want to be fair about it, maybe 65 or 66 days. And the book is done and it's selling. And we really believe this book is going to touch and impact a lot of lives. There's a very, very powerful message in here. So what can you do in your business? How can you think strategically about whether it's a book or other products, creating info marketing, product, doing a seminar, doing whatever it is. How can you move that thing forward on an aggressive timeline and just set goal after goal after goal and get everything in place and just push, push, push and make it happen? What could that mean to your business to get it done? Okay, that is your example of massive action. That's Newsletter Guru for today. Listen, before the day's out, look for ways that you can add more value to what it is that you do for your customers. Whether you're selling a product or a service, keep looking for ways to make it more valuable, add more value to you for what it is you're doing, and then also combine that value with world-class service, and your customers are going to stay longer. And guess what, folks? Customers that stay longer end up referring more, and they end up spending more money with your business, and that is always a great thing. And then before the day's out, go do something nice for somebody, whether you hold the door, wave them into traffic, help them out at the register. This is the year for millions of random acts of kindness or intentional acts of kindness. We're going to make this world a nicer place, one act of kindness at a time. What I'd like to encourage you to do is go to www.itsokaytobescared.com, get a copy of this book for yourself, and get a copy of the book for somebody you love. Maybe you know somebody that's struggling. Again, personally, maybe they're struggling in their business. There's some sharing. By the way, the 9 experts, you are not going to believe some of the stories these highly successful business owners shared about things that they went through in their business. When you read what they went through and learn how they got through it, that's why we say this is a book of hope and inspiration. Okay, next week we'll go back to doing a mindset. I started a new series called Attacking Your Mindset and Getting Your Head Right to make 2012 your best year ever. So this was a strategy. Next week I'll probably go back into a mindset. If you're watching this on Newsletter Guru TV, please click the share button and go ahead and post it to Facebook or social media and share some of the information that I'm sharing with you each week. And if you're watching this on Facebook, click the like button. No matter where you're watching it, go ahead and leave a comment. I always love hearing from you. Until next week, this is Jim Palmer, the Newsletter Guru. You take care.